Thank you very much, Mr. Polanski, for that impassioned, insightful speech. We now move to our final paper speech of the evening, after which you'll have the opportunity to vote and make your voice heard decisively on whether you've been convinced or not by proposition or opposition. But before we get to that, we have Seb Topan. Seb is a third-year HSPS student from Hughes Hall. He's a varsity journalist and a long-standing member of the Labour Club executive at Cambridge. Seb, you have the ears of the House.
Charity is a cold, grey, loveless thing. If a rich man wants to help the poor, he should pay his taxes gladly, not dole out money at a whim. Mr. President, Clement Attlee was right then, and he's right now. The Labour Party lives and breathes to support those less fortunate, make society a more equitable, prosperous place for all. And it never has and never will turn its back on the working class. And I know what the proposition has insinuated tonight, that Blair's New Labour and Keir Starmer's Labour Party of today has sacrificed their socialist principles to attain the keys to number 10, thereby betraying the working class. But the real betrayal, Mr. Speaker, the real betrayal is not being electable to the point which allows years and years of Conservative rule. That is the real betrayal. And I know what the Conservatives in the chamber tonight will think also. Please.
You can be electable by whatever policy after 6 years of failure in the Tory government, after failure in Brexit, after failure handling the COVID pandemic, after the failure of a destroyed and currently being destroyed NHS. You don't particularly need to hold on to any particular policies that you think are going to get you to win. You can basically make whatever argument you want to make to get the keys for number 10. All you have to do is be different from the Conservatives.
Yeah, it's not difficult to be different when Corbyn's the leader of the Labour Party. But I know what the Conservatives will say in the chamber tonight. They'll say that they'll help the working class more than any political party in the UK. That's what they'll say. That's what they do say. But the only difference between compassionate conservatism and conservatism is that under compassionate conservatism, they say they're not going to help you, but they're really sorry about it. Now, there are three perspectives to this debate I want to focus on. Why is it so important more than ever that Labour gets into government later this year? How has Labour been the defender of the working class? And the significance of what Labour in power would prevent for the working class. There is no shame and nothing wrong with reacting to a shifting Overton's window, the spectrum of acceptability of governmental policies. To help the working class, you must implement policies which benefit those less fortunate. And to implement such policies, you must have the power to do so. And to have the power, you need to be elected. And to be electable, you must align to the general values of society. Not now. You must also be realistic about what you can achieve in government with the economy you have. The opposite benches have mentioned, and members of the House have mentioned today, about Starmer's policy not to scrap the child benefit cap beyond 2 children per family. Many would take this as a direct betrayal of the working class, and you'd be forgiven to think so. And as difficult and controversial a decision it is, I would suggest that it's set up, in fact, long-term to actually benefit the working class, not in terms of the welfare system itself, but in many other areas that desperately need funding and could alleviate the burden on the working class. There is a clear distinction between a centre-left Labour Party and the Conservative policies of the past. So let's look at what a Labour government would do, if elected, to benefit the working class. It would scrap the tax break for private schools, build more homes and help first-time buyers have the first pick of new homes in their area, create a publicly owned Great British Energy Company to cut energy bills and deliver great jobs, making families £1,400 better off every year. Create a modern childcare system with breakfast clubs in every primary school to give children the best start. Extending maternity and paternity leave. These pledges, they don't betray the working class. Yes?
As we all know, Keir Starmer binned his 10 pledges to get into leadership as soon as he became leader. How can we trust him to do all those pledges once he gets to power nationwide? I mean, he's proven himself to be a liar once to the people, but how can the people trust him again to not just do what he did when he ran for leadership?
I take your point. It's a very fair point that leaders from any political party can promise one thing and deliver another. And sometimes they can let you down, and sometimes they can raise your hopes and deliver on those hopes. But I would urge you to have faith, and I would urge you to put your trust in Labour after 14 years of misery that the Conservatives have brought to this country. I would urge you to believe in those promises and just hope that we can deliver a better future. The alternative is to carry on with Rishi Sunak. The alternative is to carry on with the decimation of the aspirations and hopes of the working class. And I think the alternative is pretty bad as opposed to what I'm arguing tonight. I want to make some progress. These pledges, they don't betray the working class. Very clearly, they place the livelihoods and quality of life of individuals and families otherwise struggling under a Conservative government at the heart of their ability to change society for the many, and indeed put more money in the Treasury. And with more money in the Treasury, it can be spent on policies such as scrapping the child benefit cap, which I very much hope they do and encourage. These are only a few reasons why it's more important than anything to see Labour in government later this year. Now, there is a reason why Corbyn didn't get elected. Corbyn, it could be argued, betrayed the working class more than Blair, as seen in the 2019 decimation of the Red Wall. In the last general election, the Red Wall said no to Corbyn. They said no to hard left, unrealistic fantasies. They felt safer in the hands of Boris Johnson, a man who sweats inequality and attempts to clean himself up by levelling up masquerade. If that doesn't tell you Labour was doing something wrong, then not only is it betrayal on the working class, but it's a betrayal on the betterment of society as a whole. Blair understood what it meant to help the working class. You know, if you look at the statistics, it's generally those who struggle to make ends meet, that struggle to put a roof over their houses, struggle to put food on the table, that actually voted for Brexit.
Yeah, like the North East where the Red Wall fell, because they didn't vote for Corbyn because Corbyn refused to take a stance on Brexit. That's what annoyed them, not the fact that Corbyn wanted to build houses, create jobs, nationalise industries. That's not what annoyed them. It's Brexit that annoyed them because they voted for it.
If you think that Jeremy Corbyn lost... If you think that Corbyn lost because of Brexit, then you're severely mistaken. Blair understood what it meant to help the work... Thank you very much. Thank you. Blair understood what it meant to help the working class. Be electable, change society for the better against the real threat of conservatism. Corbyn only extended the time for Conservatives to be in power, extending austerity, extending the difficulty for those individuals and families struggling to make ends meet. No. The Joseph Rowntree Foundation found 3.8 million people experienced the most extreme form of poverty in 2022. That's a 61% increase since 2019, since when Johnson defeated Corbyn. That is the real betrayal. And I'm all for freedom of thought, and I have no doubt that Corbyn is a principled man. But if you cannot put that thought into tangible action that benefits the working class, then what's the point? What is the point of having a useless, powerless protest group as a parliamentary opposition? Politics without principle is barren. But politics without power is futile. Let me tell you what action looks like. Making museums free of charge. Action. Minimum wage. Action. Sure Start. Action. State pension increases. Action. Introduction of academies. Action. Working tax credit. Action. Child tax credit. Action. Introducing paid paternity leave. Action. This is action, not just thought. These achievements of the last Labour government demonstrate two things. They demonstrate that Labour has always been the defender of the working class, but moreover, to be the defender of the working class, you must have power. Without power, change does not happen. What a Labour government does to prevent for the working class, let me tell you what really hurts the working class, and cast your mind back to 2010, when Cameron and Osborne won the keys to Downing Street and unlocked a Pandora's box full of austerity measures and misery. Reductions in welfare spending, the cancellation of school building programmes, spending on police, courts and prisons also reduced. And the gift that keeps on giving now, the Conservatives, the bedroom tax was introduced, penalising social housing tenants of spare bedrooms by reducing their housing benefits, thereby placing financial strain on already low-income families. The self-declared party of aspiration, they betray the working class. What prevents this from happening is a realistic centre-left Labour Party. And granted, governments are confronted with challenges and difficult decisions, and there's no doubt that the incoming Labour government later this year will be faced with the same challenges and difficult decisions. But betraying the working class, an act of distrust, is not what this Labour Party, or any Labour Party, is about. It's about earning the trust of the electorate, the wider electorate, and being gifted the power to change society for the better, preventing these conservative policies ensuing. Now, Mr. President, I hope you forgive me if I direct my closing remarks to my Labour friends and supporters in the chamber tonight, and indeed on the opposite bench. We have, right now, a real serious opportunity to get into government, put the Conservatives back into opposition, attain the power so desperately needed to help struggling individuals and families. Ask yourself, if not now, after 14 years of Conservative rule, when? And if not Labour, who? Because it's certainly not going to be the Conservatives, and it's definitely not going to be the Greens either. Not with the system we have. Now, Labour has always been and always will be the party of the working class. So I urge you and everyone in the chamber to come together and gain the trust of the wider electorate, be there for the working class and indeed all members of society. Bring society, the society in which we live, into a prosperous, new, aspiring age with compassion and hope. And Labour can deliver that, Labour can do that and support and help the working class. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all our speakers tonight. Can we please give them one more round of applause? Now, for those of you new to the chamber, you leave and you can vote aye, no or abstention. The results will be announced in the bar. Could I please thank in particular Naomi Cray and Felix Escher for convening this debate, and thank you to everyone who participated and made it what it is. I'll see you next week.